Is this the best issue of White Dwarf ever created? So as you can tell by the price, which I can't press on in reverse here, this was a relatively cheap magazine back in the day. I won't say it was cheap because it might not have been cheap for people back in the day, but it was £1.50 in, let me have a look here for you, June of 1988. Was that expensive for you? So this White Dwarf was released in the later years of the 80s. The best decade there ever was. The art on the front of this one is absolutely fantastic. It has some sort of Mad Max vibes, I assume, which is something to do with the dark future content within. We have a upset looking bald man. He looks like the chap from Mad Max whose eyes pop out just as he's about to get rammed by another truck. Or is it a car? I can't remember. Or was it a train? It's a long time ago I saw that movie. I need to rectify that immediately. And according to the cover here, this is a special street illegal issue. So I wonder if I was to take this out on the streets with myself, would I be arrested by the local police? If any of you policemen are out there, please let me know if you'd arrest me for having this illegal magazine. It also comes with a free giant poster, and that is a lie. The poster is not giant, it's A2. I'm looking at it now. It's up there on my wall. We actually did a hanging video of this many moons a beans. A beans, yes. We did a hanging video of the poster many moons ago. I'll put a link for you up here just in case you want to see it, but it is quite an old video. Anyway, that's enough waffle. Let's jump in and have a look. Okay, so today we are looking at Games Workshop's monthly games magazine, White Dwarf, and in this episode we are looking at issue 102, which would cost you £1.50 or $3.50 in the USA, $6.50 in Australia, and 7.8 Deutschmarks if you're in West Germany. So this is pre-Berlin Wall fall, which is quite interesting to note. I'd never noticed that before. Anyway, on the front we have a man being chased by a car, an advert, I think, for Dark Future. On the inside cover we can see some Blood Bowl adverts, and we can see that this issue 102 was released in June of 1988. First up, we have a advert for the Rhino. This is when it was first originally released, as it came with 3 complete plastic kits in one mighty box, and I think it would cost you £9.99, a bargain. Here we can see an artist of the week. I say of the week, I mean of the issue, which is sometimes every month, and this time it's Pete Knifton. He does some wonderful art. A lot of this appears to be black and white. Lots of Blood Bowl art you can see here. And some of this art I think is for Dark Future. This looks a lot like Carrie Fisher. Some more Warhammer 40,000 Rogue Trader Oldhammer releases here. We have the Eldar Walker, now known as the War Walker. Some Space Marine heavy weapons, of which we have a heavy bolter, a las cannon, grenade launcher I think, heavy bolter, heavy plasma, and las cannon. And I do like the old Space Sharks. Here we can see another Traitor Legionnaire. I think this one is a World Eater maybe? I don't know. And down here we have your Imperial Army heavy weapons, not Imperial Guard. Not yet, anyway. Culture Shock, not sure what this is. I think it's like a day in the life of the Warhammer events team or something. Here we see a man dressed as a devil? I don't know. A winged creature with horns. One person has emerged as the #1 force in science fantasy. His name is David Eddings, and I have to admit, sadly, I have never heard of him. So maybe I don't know much about science fantasy. TM Games, again, proper pushing their shop every month in Warhammer. In White Dwarf. Some adverts here. Critical Mass. No, it's not adverts. It's a book review column, I believe. Thrud, the Barbarian. A couple of very empty looking picture areas here. Can't remember the name of these. Tiles, boxes, windows, frames. Someone will tell me what they're called in the comments. Last chance to subscribe at the old price. Should I send this off? I can get 24 issues for 30 quid. A bargain, I believe. Here we can see some back issues, if you would want one. Dungeon Quest Catacombs. Still not played that game. Does look like a fun game. I want to play that game. And the Fimir, a brief encounter for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and a Warhammer Fantasy Battle Skirmish idea. The Fimir are these one-eyed beaky boys. They look a bit like the Skeksis from Dark Crystal to me. I think they said. Or was that just one of them? Check them out, they're proper strange. I think you got a couple of Fimir in Hero Quest. I may be wrong. Here we have some. Dirac, warrior, noble, meh, warrior, Dirac, and Ferana Fim. All designed by Nick Bibby. Is Nick short for Nicholas? There's a one-eyed fellow hiding to the south of Commendon. Yes. Aha, I do like this old piece of Fimir artwork here. It's very colourful and it's very nice. Here we see a Fimir giving it large to some poor man. He's getting the shit kicked out of him. Some more Fimir here on the march. Quite like that banner. Might steal that. A lovely picture here of Fimir and orcs hanging out together. Some maps. Of course, you can't have a roleplay without a map. And here we have Dark Future, the game of highway warriors, because it's in the wasteland. Heavily based on Mad Max, I believe, along with that other board game, Thunder Road. Was that the name of it? I think so. These all came out around the same sort of time, just after Mad Max, I believe. Check out these old cars. And hello, Mel Gibson over here. Quite like this Spider-Mobile on Ready or Red One. He looks a little bit like the Lord Humongous, doesn't he? And this looks like a band. Let me know what band they look like. Here we have some lovely pieces of colour art for various spec ops or whatever they were called. Sanctioned ops, that's it. This is Clint Eastwood with his own car here. Various different things. Quite like this blue and red one down here. And that's definitely a Porsche 959. Maybe. It's definitely maybe. These, I think, are all based on the old Le Mans cars. Which they could have been Ferraris or Porsches. Or something else. Not sure about these. Here's another advert for Dark Future. Quite a lot of that. And again, entrance adverts for Golden Demon 1988. To be held at Victoria Leisure Centre, Nottingham. Let us know if you went there. These are nice. These are some banners created by the community. And this one has some lovely art. The Monks of the Screaming Fist. He's got a hand in his palm. He definitely hasn't palmed that one off. Hooey! Yes, I think they're very nice. Does anyone recognise any of these names? Peter Marshall from Norwich. I'm from near Norwich. I've not heard of this person. So whilst looking on the back cover of issue 102 of White Dwarf, you get this collection of character cards of sorts for Blood Bowl, and the guy at the top left is a dwarf, and in his stats it says, if you're enjoying this video, then please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. That means you, Stanley. If you are enjoying the content here on the channel, then please consider joining the Patreon, the link to which is in the description below or up here somewhere. Interesting. Blood Bowl teams here. He looks dead. He is casualty, although he's laying on the side. Dwarves, Dark Elves, Humans, or as Humans, as a Ferengi might call them, and Crossbowmen. I did enjoy the idea of the Crossbowmen team in Blood Bowl. I think this might be a separate advert. Here we have an heavy metal article on painting faces, and check out this guy with his big bulbous spons. Lovely. And you can see some of the heavy metal team having their photos stretched to fit the page, as it were. Lots more old miniatures and faces here. And here it tells us how to paint faces, including eyes. Oh, that's the iris, isn't it? And this looks like a masked man. War paint or tattoos can be added in any design. And any design we shall add. An asymmetrical face will make the figure look gawky. Don't know what they're talking about. More adverts here for the Orc's Nest. Someone told me that's still going. Well done, Orc's Nest. Congratulations. The Irresistible. Penguin books. Marvellous. Here we have some rules for the Eldar War Walker. Equipped with the Scatter Ladder. The scattering ladder, which scatters ladders all over your siege. Fist by Steve Jackson, where you would ring up and play a game for £600 an hour, and then your parents would go absolutely ballistic and remove your use of the phone forever. On the Boil. This month's On the Boil answers some of your questions about magic in Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. I have no questions, so we will skip past this, although the artwork is very nice. Putting the boot in. Rules for kickers in Blood Bowl. Why are they not in the main rules, eh? Why are they in here? I don't know, but I do like these shoes. I think I had to wear those for PE back in the 80s. The smallest gobbledygook cartoon ever. Some mail order here. Here's your weapons. Wondered what that says there. It says Wham. It looked like something else in the corner of my eye, you know. Mummy's Tomb characters. Mycroft Lestrade and Idaho Smith looks considerably like Indiana Jones. Everyone made their characters look like Indiana Jones, and they still do. Realm of Chaos, Slaves to Darkness. A excerpt, I think, from the book of the same name. This looks like a modern advert, very bland. Demon names. We can roll a d20. I don't have one nearby, but have a good look at that and make your own names. Your name could be Buttock Piercer. Interesting. I'll have my buttocks pierced. Thank you, Mr. Demon. Is there a proper name for a buttock piercing? I don't know. Medics in Warhammer 40,000. This fantastic piece of artwork here. And some of these old medic colour plates. Always like the look of the flesh eaters and white scars in their red and white. I think it looks very nice. There he is, your medic. Collecting his tea bags. I think they were known as Gene Seed, and before they were known as Gene Seed, they were actually known as Gene Sperm, of all things, but they quickly changed the name of that. What's it say on his helmet? Mid and Squad. He is having the Emperor's forgiveness or grace or whatever it's called applied. The Final Service. A couple of medics on motorbikes arguing here about the quickest way to get home to the Fortress Monastery. An unknown walking thing here. It's not walking, is it? It's floating with arms. It's a flyer, not a walker. Never noticed that. And he has a lightsaber of all things with a big hilt. More medic miniatures here, looking very nice. And a card section on the back with some freebooters for Blood Bowl. Dolfar Longstride and Siggy the Boot Schuster. Not as good as Pedro de Arville. So that was White Dwarf issue 102. What did you think of that? I quite enjoyed it. I have to say I do find the old magazines rather interesting. Did you own issue 102 of White Dwarf? I myself got this one from eBay way back when because I wanted that giant poster inside for my studio wall. What do you think was the best article in that magazine? Myself, I think it was the Dark Future release article. Very interesting, lots of lovely artwork, and I enjoyed the vibe of that game. Reminds me of RoboCop meets Mad Max meets Conan the Barbarian. Do you like Old Dwarf? Old Dwarf. Who is this Old Dwarf that we like? Do you like old White Dwarf magazines? I myself, I really do. Hence, I wouldn't be making videos about them if I didn't. If you want to see some more Oldhammer White Dwarf issue reviews, and I know you do, then check out the playlist up here somewhere. As always, thank you very much for watching, and always remember to drill your barrels.